Helping others is noble, but helping the wrong people can destroy your peace. The Stoics believed in compassion, but not blind sacrifice. They taught discernment, boundaries, wisdom in action. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Do not waste what remains of your life in speculating about others, unless it is done with reference to some common good." In other words, help when it's useful. Help when it uplifts. But never help at the cost of your dignity, energy, or integrity. These are the 10 types of people you should not help. Not because you're cold, but because you're wise. The perpetual victim. Some people are not victims of circumstance. They are victims of their own mindset. They wear helplessness like a uniform. Every conversation becomes a loop of complaints, excuses, and blame. They blame their parents, their boss, the government, their past, everyone but themselves. And while they may seem overwhelmed and deserving of help, look closely. They resist every real solution. Not because the solution doesn't exist, but because the victim identity gives them something they're not ready to give up: sympathy, attention, and the comfort of lowered expectations. Epictetus warned us, don't be carried away by the appearance of things. Just because someone appears to need saving doesn't mean they truly want to be saved. The perpetual victim doesn't seek your wisdom. They seek your energy. They want you to feel what they feel, to sit in their misery and validate it. And the more you try to lift them, the more they will pull you down. This is not cruelty. This is clarity. You cannot help someone who refuses to take responsibility. You cannot fill a cup that has no bottom. True help begins with a willingness to grow. And until they find that willingness, your energy is better spent elsewhere. In Stoicism, compassion must be paired with discernment. Help those who are ready, who show effort, however small, but do not keep offering your hand to someone who has no intention of standing up. They will drain you and call it friendship. The chronic taker. Some people confuse kindness with weakness. They see your giving nature and exploit it, not out of malice, but out of habit. They're chronic takers, masters at receiving, skilled in asking, but when it's time to give, to support, to reciprocate, they vanish. At first, they come off as harmless, maybe even charming. They always have a story, always need just one more thing. And because you're compassionate, you say yes, again, and again, and again, until eventually you realize you've been used. The Stoics believed in helping others, but never at the cost of your soul. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." And being a good person doesn't mean allowing yourself to be taken advantage of. Goodness without boundaries becomes self-betrayal. Chronic takers will never stop asking. Why should they? You've trained them that your yes is automatic, that your time is theirs, that your energy has no limits. But here's the truth. Saying no doesn't make you selfish, it makes you sovereign. People respect those who protect their time, who give with intention, not guilt. So if someone only comes to you when they need something, let them go. They're not a friend, they're a pattern. And patterns like that don't just cost you money, they cost you peace. Help those who give back, who show up when you're in need, who understand that real relationships are mutual, not one-sided. Because helping someone who takes and never gives is not kindness, it's self-abandonment.
3. The one who won't listen. There's a certain kind of exhaustion that comes not from giving too much, but from being ignored too often. You offer your time, your insight, your experience, and in return, you get resistance, defensiveness, or worse, complete dismissal. These are the people who ask for advice but never truly want it. They don't want clarity, they want comfort. They don't want truth, they want validation. And every time you try to help them, it's like shouting into the wind. Nothing sticks, nothing changes. The Stoics warned us, only the educated are free. And education begins with humility, the willingness to listen, to consider, to reflect. But those who reject every perspective that challenges them are not seeking growth, they are protecting their ego. When someone can't hear you, no matter how calmly or wisely you speak, your effort becomes wasted breath. And the more you try to save them, the more they resent you. Because deep down, they know you're right. But admitting that would mean they'd have to change. Epictetus said, "It is impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows." If someone believes they already have all the answers, let them walk their path, alone if they must. It is not your job to force wisdom onto the unwilling. It is your job to preserve your energy for those who are ready. Help the humble, help the open-minded, but don't keep throwing lifelines to someone who refuses to grab hold. Not everyone who asks for guidance wants direction. Some just want to be seen spinning in circles. 4. The habitual liar. Trust is the foundation of any meaningful help. And once that trust is broken, repeatedly, your help becomes a tool in someone else's manipulation. The habitual liar isn't always obvious. Sometimes they appear kind, vulnerable, even honest, until the truth reveals otherwise. They twist facts to win sympathy. They change stories to escape consequences. They lie, not always to hurt, but to control. And here's the danger. Every time you offer help based on their dishonesty, you're not helping them. You're helping the lie live longer. The Stoics held truth as sacred. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." That's not just a moral code, it's a boundary. Because when you ignore lies in the name of compassion, you slowly erode your own clarity. You stop trusting your instincts. You begin to doubt yourself. Helping someone who manipulates truth is not noble, it's naive. And over time, it becomes self-inflicted harm. Forgive, yes, but don't forget patterns. If someone lies once, maybe it was fear. Twice, maybe it was confusion. But if it's a pattern, you are being played. The Stoic does not seek revenge or confrontation. They simply withdraw, quietly, firmly, because truth does not need to argue. Help those who are honest about their flaws, who face their mistakes, however painful, but walk away from those who lie as easily as they breathe, because you can't build trust on shifting ground, and you can't offer real help to someone hiding behind a mask. 5. The enabler of their own destruction. It's one of the hardest truths to face. Some people don't want change. They want comfort in their chaos, and your help only delays their lesson. You rescue them once, they thank you. You rescue them twice, they expect it. You rescue them a third time, and now it's your responsibility. The Stoics warned against trying to control what isn't ours. Epictetus said, "You may bind up a person's wound, but you cannot give them the will to heal." You can support, you can guide, but you cannot walk someone's path for them, especially when they insist on walking in circles.
Helping someone who continually chooses their own suffering isn't compassion. It's participation. When you save someone from their consequences over and over, you don't just protect them from pain, you protect them from growth. And in doing so, you become the silent architect of their downfall. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do is step back. Let reality teach what you cannot. Let pain refine what comfort cannot. Let their consequences speak louder than your advice ever could. Stoicism isn't coldness, it's clarity. It's knowing the difference between helping and enabling. And it's having the courage to let go of those who refuse to rise. You cannot carry someone who insists on crawling. 6. The jealous and competitive friend. Some people are only comfortable when you're struggling beside them. The moment you rise, even if you once helped them rise, they shift. What began as a friendship quietly becomes a competition, and instead of celebrating you, they start resenting you. This is the dangerous kind of person to help, the one who sees your kindness as leverage, your support as weakness, and your success as a threat. Seneca said, "He who envies another confesses his own inferiority." When someone you've supported begins to treat your growth like a personal attack, it's not about you, it's about the gap between where they are and where they refuse to go. But that gap turns into bitterness, and your wins become their reminders of inadequacy. Helping someone like this is not just thankless, it's harmful. Because eventually you'll notice their compliments grow quieter, their jokes grow sharper, and their presence feels heavier. The Stoic chooses friends who uplift, not those who applaud your pain and ignore your progress. If someone cannot be happy for you, they were never fully with you. True friendship is not a race, it's a shared journey. And if someone turns your generosity into rivalry, let them walk alone. Help those who rise with you, who cheer for you, not compete with you. Because anything less isn't loyalty, it's latent envy in disguise. 7. The constant complainer. There are people who aren't looking for help. They're looking for an audience. They complain not to resolve, but to be heard, to be pitied, to be right. To them, every day is a new reason to be unhappy, and every attempt you make to offer perspective is wasted breath. Epictetus taught, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. But the constant complainer doesn't want responsibility. They want exemption from effort, from self-awareness, from change. When you help a complainer, they nod, they agree, then return to the same script. They are emotionally addicted to misery, and the more attention you give it, the more it grows. They don't want light. They want clouds. And if you stay around too long, they'll pull you into the storm with them. Here's the Stoic truth. Not every conversation deserves your energy. Not every complaint is a call for support. Sometimes it's just noise, meant to keep people stuck where they are. You must learn to separate suffering from self-sabotage. The one deserves compassion. The other, distance. Don't become a therapist to someone who refuses to become a student. You're not cold for walking away. You're wise. Because helping those who refuse to help themselves isn't kindness, it's codependence.
8. The manipulator disguised as the helpless. Not every cry for help is honest. Some wear weakness like a costume, because helplessness can be a powerful tool. They've learned that if they appear small, overwhelmed, or broken, people will rush in. And once you do, they tighten the net. This person doesn't just ask for help, they expect it. Not once, not twice, but constantly. And if you ever pull back, they accuse you of being selfish, cold, or disloyal. This is manipulation, wrapped in softness, hidden behind the mask of need. The Stoics warned us to see things clearly, not as they appear, but as they are. Epictetus said, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. But this type of person never says what they truly are. They shift shapes. They use emotional confusion to control those around them. You help, and suddenly you're obligated. You give once, and suddenly it's your duty. But here's the truth. Guilt is not love. Obligation is not compassion. And manipulation is not weakness, it's strategy. The Stoic knows, to help the truly helpless is noble, but to feed someone's emotional manipulation is foolish. Because the longer you play their game, the harder it becomes to walk away. Protect your peace. Don't just look at what someone is asking for. Look at how they're asking. Is it from humility or control? Help those who are honest about their needs, but walk away from those who disguise their powerlessness as entitlement. 9. The energy leech. Some people don't seek help. They seek an audience. They thrive on chaos, drama, and emotional storms. Every conversation is a crisis. Every moment, a demand on your energy. Seneca said, associate with people who are likely to improve you. But energy leeches do the opposite. They drain your vitality, leaving you empty and exhausted. No amount of advice or kindness can fill a bottomless pit, and no boundary you don't set will keep them from taking more than you can give. The Stoic protects his inner fortress, his mind and spirit. He understands that his energy is a precious resource, not to be wasted on those who constantly sap it without giving back. Helping is noble, but helping at the cost of your well-being is self-destruction. Recognize the energy leeches in your life. Set firm boundaries. And remember, you cannot pour from an empty cup.
10. The one who expects you to fix everything. There's a fine line between helping and enabling. Some people turn their problems over to you as if you're the only solution. They never try. They never learn. They simply expect you to fix what they refuse to face. At first, it feels good to be needed, to be the person others depend on. But over time, it becomes a burden, a trap that drains your energy and stunts their growth. Marcus Aurelius reminded us, waste no more time arguing what a good man should be one. But being good doesn't mean doing for others what they can and should do for themselves. True help empowers. It inspires responsibility. It encourages growth. If you always fix someone's problems, you rob them of their strength, the strength they need to build resilience and independence. The Stoic chooses to guide, not carry, to support, not replace, because the greatest help is teaching someone to stand on their own 2 feet. So if someone expects you to be their constant fixer, set a boundary, encourage effort, and remember, help that disables is no help at all. Not everyone who asks for help deserves it. Not every cry is genuine. Not every struggle is ready for support. Stoicism teaches us clarity, not coldness, compassion paired with wisdom, boundaries paired with kindness. Help those who want to grow, who respect your time and energy, who take responsibility for themselves, and who walk beside you, not drag behind. Sometimes the kindest thing you can do is to step back, to let others face their own challenges, to let their pain become their teacher, because in protecting your peace, you preserve your power to help when it truly matters. If this message resonated, share it with those who give too much. Protect your energy, set your boundaries, and subscribe for more timeless wisdom to live with clarity, strength, and calm in a noisy world.